A sprint weekend at one of the most exciting circuits on the calendar is ahead of us, and the storylines are absolutely massive. From the McLaren intra-team battle that's threatening to explode, to Max Verstappen's championship charge, and the challenges of racing in Texas heat. What should we expect at Circuit of the Americas? And more importantly, could this weekend completely reshape the championship fight? The Formula One circus has arrived in Austin, Texas, and this is a circuit that always delivers entertainment. The Circuit of the Americas is 3.426 miles long with 20 turns, and it's known as one of the best overtaking tracks on the calendar. The famous uphill approach to Turn 1 is dramatic and has produced countless first-lap incidents over the years. This weekend, with two McLaren drivers fighting for the championship and both likely to start near the front, that Turn 1 could be absolutely critical. But before we even get to Sunday's main event, we have a sprint weekend format to deal with. This means Friday brings just 1 hour of free practice followed by sprint qualifying. Saturday features the sprint race in the morning and then the main qualifying session in the afternoon. It's a compressed schedule that gives teams very limited time to optimize their setups, and that always creates opportunities for mistakes and surprises. The weather forecast for Austin is showing hot conditions throughout the weekend. Temperatures are expected to reach 33 degrees Celsius on Friday and Sunday, with Saturday slightly cooler at 30 degrees. There is a slight chance of rain, but the forecast is mostly dry. These hot conditions will have a significant impact on tyre degradation and strategy, which could be decisive in determining the race outcome. The championship situation heading into Austin is absolutely fascinating. Oscar Piastri leads Lando Norris by 22 points after the drama in Singapore. That incident at Turn 1, where Norris made contact with Piastri, has changed everything. McLaren has reportedly abandoned their papaya rules and will now let the drivers race freely. This sounds good in theory, but it also means there are no guidelines to prevent another collision. Mark Webber, Piastri's manager, has been putting serious pressure on McLaren. Reports suggest he's actively exploring exit options for Piastri and using the threat of a move to Ferrari or another team as leverage. Webber experienced similar treatment at Red Bull when he felt he was being treated as secondary to Sebastian Vettel, so he's extremely sensitive to any signs that Piastri isn't getting equal treatment. The sprint weekend format makes this situation even more volatile. There are 4 competitive sessions where Piastri and Norris will be battling each other: sprint qualifying on Friday, the sprint race on Saturday morning, main qualifying on Saturday afternoon, and the Grand Prix on Sunday. That's 4 separate opportunities for tension, controversy, and potential disaster. But we cannot ignore Max Verstappen in all of this. The Dutchman sits 63 points behind Piastri, which seems like a lot. However, there are still 199 points available across the final 6 races, and 3 of those are sprint weekends with extra points on offer. Verstappen has shown improved form recently, and Red Bull's upgrades appear to be working. If McLaren's drivers keep taking points off each other, Verstappen could absolutely get back into this championship fight. Verstappen himself has experience in these situations. We saw in 2021 how he handled the pressure of a championship battle that went down to the final lap. He doesn't make mistakes under pressure, which is something that cannot always be said for Norris, and, after Baku, perhaps not for Piastri either. The 4-time world champion will be watching the McLaren situation very carefully and ready to capitalise on any mistakes. Circuit of the Americas should theoretically favour McLaren. The MCL39 has been dominant on high downforce and medium downforce circuits this season. The track features a mix of high-speed sections and technical corners, which plays to McLaren's strengths. However, the limited practice time in the sprint format means teams have less data to optimize their setups. This could level the playing field slightly. The hot weather conditions will be a major factor in strategy. Tyre degradation increases significantly in high temperatures, and teams will need to decide between 1-stop and 2-stop strategies for the 56-lap Grand Prix. The undercut could be powerful here, and safety car timing will be crucial. If a safety car appears at the wrong moment, it could completely change the race. Turn 1 at COTA is going to be the focal point of everyone's attention. The uphill blind approach makes it a prime overtaking spot, but it's also where incidents happen. If Piastri and Norris are running first and second into that corner, either on Saturday in the sprint or Sunday in the main race, will they make it through cleanly? McLaren's decision to let them race freely means there will be no team orders preventing aggressive moves. The sprint race on Saturday adds an extra layer of complexity. It's only 19 laps, but points are available, and every point matters in a tight championship. Sprint races are typically more aggressive than main races because drivers feel they must make moves quickly. If Piastri and Norris are battling in the sprint, it could set the tone for the entire weekend. A collision or controversy on Saturday would make Sunday's main race even more tense. For McLaren, this weekend is absolutely critical. They've already secured the Constructors' Championship, so their entire focus is on the driver's title. Andrea Stella is under immense pressure to manage this situation correctly. Zak Brown has spoken about wanting to give both drivers equal opportunity and let the best man win, but that's easier said than done when you're trying to prevent them from taking each other out. Brown understands the danger of the situation. He's seen what Verstappen can do under pressure, and he knows that one more mistake from either Piastri or Norris could open the door for the Dutchman. The McLaren boss said recently that they want to set up both drivers to compete for the championship down to Abu Dhabi, and may the best driver win. But the reality is that McLaren might need to make some difficult decisions about team orders if they want to prevent Verstappen from stealing the title. The qualifying session on Saturday afternoon will be fascinating. It happens after the sprint race, which means both sessions take place on the same day. This is physically and mentally demanding for the drivers. Looking at what's at stake for each driver, Piastri needs to maintain his championship lead and prove he deserves number one treatment at McLaren. He cannot afford mistakes that cost points, and he needs to keep Verstappen at a safe distance. For Norris, he must close that 22-point gap to his teammate. He needs to outscore Piastri while also not taking himself out of the race. The pressure on him is enormous, especially with British media expectations. Verstappen's goal is simple: maximise points while McLaren's drivers fight each other. He needs to show that Red Bull's improvements are working and that he's still very much in this championship fight. His experience in title battles could be the decisive factor if McLaren continues to struggle with managing their drivers. What makes this weekend particularly significant is that it's the first of 3 consecutive sprint weekends. After Austin comes Mexico and then Brazil, all with extra points available. How McLaren handles this Texas weekend will set the tone for the next month of racing. If they can get through cleanly with Piastri extending his lead, they'll be in great shape. But if tensions explode and Verstappen closes the gap, we could have a genuine 3-way title fight on our hands. Circuit of the Americas always delivers entertainment, and with the championship battle at this level of intensity, we're guaranteed drama. The sprint format adds extra spice. Turn 1 will be must-watch television, and McLaren's management will be tested like never before. Don't count out Verstappen. He's proven time and again that he thrives under pressure. With 6 races remaining and 199 points still available, this championship is far from decided. With all this in mind, what do you think about the United States Grand Prix, and which storyline are you most excited about? Can McLaren avoid disaster, or will Verstappen capitalise on their internal battle? Let us know in the comments below, and once you do that, make sure to click on the video that appears on your screen right now.